we're going to need a bigger drop cloth. Hi everyone, I'm Jacob. I'm the CowHatLibrarian, and I've got a really good graphic novel for you tonight. It is Primer, a superhero graphic novel by Jennifer Muro, Thomas Krajewski, and Gretel Lusky. As the story starts, Ashley, our heroine, is in foster care. She's 13 years old, her dad's in prison, and she's bumped from one to another foster home over the course of the last little while. But she's being given another chance. There's an adoption-ready couple that wants to meet her. And she's sort of primed for the meeting by her foster care worker. And Ashley meets with this family, the Nolans. During the interview process, Ashley asks them whether they have a pet monkey. And Kitch replies, well, yeah, actually, they have 34 monkeys. Doesn't everyone? And they talk a little bit more, and Ashley finds out that Yuka is a fan of her favorite football team and has season tickets. And she's on board. So they adopt her, and she goes and lives with them. And they're pretty great on the whole. They have good food for her, they've got a room for her. When Ashley's upset and she sneaks out in the middle of the night to spray paint graffiti, Kitch actually thinks it's kind of cool and that she's artistic. And so he takes her to his studio, basically a converted garage with more paint than she's ever seen. And he starts showing her painting techniques and so on, and she really likes it. But Yuka's a little more quiet, a little more standoffish. Yuka's attitude is because she works for a company that's doing work for the government, developing war paint. The soldier using it has to inhale a special gas, and they can paint these paints on their body to gain all sorts of powers. And Yuka does not like it, does not like that the military is getting it, does not want anything to do with it. So she switches out the cases at work and takes the case full of the war paints and the gas home. And she hides it away and locks it up. Well, Ashley decides that she's going to go look for the birthday present that they said they were going to get her. And she thinks they gave her the paints, and so she decides to try them out. She inadvertently inhales the gas from the thing and accidentally finds out that when she puts the paint on, she gets powers. So she touches a little bit of paint on her arm to check out the color and the texture and everything, and all of a sudden, she's floating. She tries out the other colors and finds out that they all have different powers. But if she puts too many of them on, there's a backlash and a bit of an explosion that knocks her down and wears her out. She also finds out that the colors can be washed off and she's left powerless. But so she starts experimenting with them and using them to be a superhero, including rescuing a plane that was falling out of the sky. Well, the military men who were involved with the war paint project find that the paints are gone. And one of them kidnaps Kitch and Yuka and demands that Ashley return the paints to him. And it goes from there. This is great. The story is compelling. The idea of there being washable superhero powers is a fun one, and it explains why Ashley might get them, and it has built-in vulnerabilities that anyone could understand. If you mix too many colors, you get a backlash. Well, if you mix too many colors in real life, you get an ugly, muddy, grayish color. If you don't want paint on stuff anymore, well, you wash it off, provided it's water-based, of course. If you get the paint washed off you, you don't have powers anymore. It's a clear, consistent, logical approach to superhero powers. And it was compelling. Ashley's a great character. They show that she has a habit of running away and just hanging out by herself when things aren't going good with her foster home, and that plays into the story. Her relationship with her dad is interesting because it's clearly, at the very least, an emotionally abusive relationship, which is interesting because so many of the other books I've read where it involves adopted children or foster children, their parents are just out of the picture, not mentioned. It's sort of the kid's life begins in foster care. And this one provides some more context for what happened and why her dad's in jail and their relationship. This is a winner. Lusky's art is ridiculously colorful and vivid and expressive and just so overwhelmingly effective at conveying things. This is brilliant artwork, and it's a winner. It was written as a standalone graphic novel, but there's enough of a hook at the end that there could conceivably be a sequel. I enjoyed the heck out of this. Now, in my public library system, it was listed as a young adult graphic novel, but I will say that I read it to my daughters, who are significantly younger than teens, and aside from one or two scary moments that we had to talk about, they really enjoyed it. When we read about half of it one night, the next night they were nattering at me at bedtime, "We need to read the primer book, we need to read the primer book, the girl with the paint, yeah. And so it's got a wide appeal, I think, because I got as much out of it as they did. Now, with that said, it wasn't perfect. There's spoilers ahead because I have to talk about the deal breaker. Okay, the only deal breaker here really is that the paint can regenerate in the tube. And so as long as they have that set of paint, they'll never run out of powers. That's the one thing that's hard to believe. Well, I mean, it's all superhero powers, but there's no logic to that part of it, that the paint just regenerates in the tubes and the superhero can just continue using it after a time. That could have been a little better explained one way or another, even if it was just a throwaway scene at the lab where Yuka talks about how the electrical charge pulls the pigment back in through a filter and into the tube or something. That would have been enough for me, but given how logically cohesive everything else is, the recharging paint tube just seems a little bit out of place to me without a better explanation. I will say though, I liked that they did not use the superhero trope of a small mask or glasses or anything else completely confounding everyone. I like that Ashley puts on what she assumes is a pretty good superhero costume when she goes and rescues the plane and does battle with the bad guy at the end, but that her dad in prison sees right through it and recognizes her face. This is not Superman putting on glasses and then being unrecognizable under the persona of Clark Kent. This was just, it was really good all around. If you've got students or children who like superhero stuff, maybe if they're Teen Titans Go fans or they've read some of the more kid-friendly X-Men stuff, I think they'd get a kick out of Ashley's story here in Primer. Go borrow it from your local library. While I'm on that topic, if you use and appreciate the services offered by your public library, why not take just 1 minute and tell the powers that be exactly that? Tell your mayor, tell a council member, tell your MP or MLA that you use and appreciate the services offered by your public library. We're at a time where some public libraries are having trouble finding sustainable funding to continue improving the materials, programs, and services they offer. And a few good words in the right ears might make a world of difference. If by some chance you're a library staff member, don't forget, watching my videos counts as professional development time. With that, thank you for listening to me roll it on really thick for Primer. By all means, please like, please subscribe, and please check back to see what else I have to talk about from the CowHat Library. Thank you. Bye now.